I've really got to tidy this room up. It really must. I'm eating a Tesco's basic normal tuna and pasta salad. It's one of my favourite meals. I'm a sad bastard, aren't I? My dad, who I'm currently living with, has got a pathological fear of fish. He doesn't mind them as an animal, but to eat them and the smell of them makes him want to faint. And it's not that uncommon. Anyway, I've been a good boy, so Santa has brought me a present. Look at these, I keep them in my little man bag. They're a pair of Fiskars scissors. Look how small they are. And I use them all the while. I've never owned a penknife, well I haven't for about 30 years. Get yourself a pair of the smallest Fiskars scissors they make. Could save your life one day. So what have I got here? Well, it says made in Japan. I got this from a company called Gear for Music. I got it £100 cheaper because the box had already been opened, and that was all. It is a Korg Prologue synthesizer. It's the 8-voice version because the 8-voice version is considerably smaller than the 16. It's not that much cheaper, it's only a couple £100 cheaper. But if you want a digital piano, then polyphony, that's the number of notes that you can play at once, counts, because you stick your foot on the sustain pedal, go up the keyboard like that, and you could soon play 60, 70 notes, and you want them to hang on if your foot's down on the pedal. And my Roland Juno DS88, I've just bought my daughter one for Christmas. Shh, don't tell her. That's got 128 polyphony, which sounds huge amounts. Why do you need to play that many notes? But you can soon hit that, and with a piano you can tell when a piano starts robbing notes. You know, your bass will disappear. You do a big a little tinkle tinkle, all of a sudden your bass that you thought was hanging on because you got your foot on the sustain pedal disappears. No stupid adapters. A decent cable, look at that. I'll show you a bit closer. So as you can see, look, it says here, look, please note the package may have been opened for quality inspection before delivery, and that's what Gear for Music said they'd done. Because I think that's a Korg thing, but because they'd done it, I got it £100 cheaper. I never know what these mean. Look. Well, obviously stack this way up, no more than 10 high. Don't kick the sides of it in. Don't leave it out in the rain without an umbrella. What's that? I mean, that, does it mean it's fragile, or does it mean there's booze inside? Let's have a look. Oh shit. Oh, there is. Bottle of Bushmills. Oh, that's nice. That was a joke. Anyway, what do you get for your money? I was thinking of getting the Korg mini log because, let's just chuck this down here. The last real analog synthesizer I had was a Roland Juno 6. I've still got it somewhere at work in a cupboard. Had a bit of an accident, some of the keys got broken off it. I've always thought, well, I'll put it back together one day, never have. And I thought, where are my little scissors? Here they are. So I thought, well, anyway, going back to polyphony, or whatever you want to call it. Oh shit, that's beautiful. I thought, well, 1, 2, often play an octave in the bass hand. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still leaves you a bit, so it might restrain my playing slightly, very slightly. But this has got delay and reverb in there, well, delay or reverb, and I've got me Eventide reverb pedal anyway. So if you bang a bit of reverb on something, you don't tend to notice notes being lost. So let's look at my initial impression of this. Put this over here. It's not cheap though. This is just a shade over £1,000. So it's not a toy. What do I think about it? I love the size. So look, I'm currently living at Mum and Dad's in a bedroom, so I haven't brought me Roland piano in here because it's huge. My Juno, it's just too big. I've got a little Korg, a mini Korg thing, which is about yay big. It's a bit like a boat. They often say in boating, the amount of fun you have with a boat is inversely proportional to its size. I.e., you get a 24, 30-foot yacht, you're always tinkering with it, it's always in and out, always having stuff done. Years ago I had a boat that was 12 foot long with an outboard on the back and a little cabin at the front, and I used it all the while because it was just easy to use. And I think if you're in a situation where you can't have a dedicated music room and you've got to put your keyboard somewhere where you're not using it, I mean that is not big. Look, that's a beautiful size. Quality wise, it does remind me of my Juno. Steel. Excuse me, I got a bit of a cold this week, so if I start snorting. Got a proper wood finish, which is, that feels acceptable. That's proper wood. Yeah. What are the knobs like? Cheap knobs will have a lot of movement up and down if you go like that. They've got quite a bit of resistance to them actually. They're not flimsy. What are the switches like? With proper little felt coverings there. So you could whip a hoover over this now and again, know that all the dust that lands on that won't go into the circuit board. What does the key bed feel like? Fairly stiff, but they're good big keys. That feels good to me. I think folks, this is a winner. Not cheap, but nowhere near like a Prophet or an Oberheim, all these new sort of things that are coming in. And it's a real analog synthesizer. These are my favourite way of doing pitch and modulation. On a lot of things you'll get a joystick which does pitch that way or pitch this way and modulation that way. I don't like it. I like to be able to play a note and just bend it or dial in a bit of modulation there, which will give you vibrato or whatever you assign that to. Now my little Korg XL, Micro Korg XL Plus thing, whatever it's called, the pitch didn't always centre back in the middle. And that does. It's got just the right of resistance. Wow, 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 you know, and of course that one's not sprung loaded. That feels great. What are the buttons like? It's got a click, so you know you've pressed it. After I'd ordered this, I thought, oh, why didn't I spend an extra 150, 200 quid and get a 16 voice one? But the 16 voice one is about to there, which doesn't sound a lot, but you know, if you're a teenager and you've been doing a bit of work, you know, just have one of these in your bedroom. This isn't much bigger than a Moog. It's not much bigger at all. It's certainly a lot smaller than a lot of the competition. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 octaves, which is more than enough. Nice big keys. No space wasted here. Look how close that is to the edge. Made in Japan, they should be proud of that. I mean, even before I turn it on, I'm just so in love with this. The basic architecture, you've got volume, this, that and the other. You've got 3 really good. We've got 2 normal envelopes. You don't tend to get sine waves on these modern ones because it's not that dissimilar to a triangle wave, but 8 voices with 3 oscillators on each voice, and this one's special. You can make it do all sorts, and it's got its own little digital readout. I mean, what you've got here is a digital synthesizer and an analog synthesizer in one. You've got a good little mixer section there, very Moog-like. Lovely filter section here by the looks of it, and you'll be able to wow, be able to, you know, muck around with that. Yeah, I like it. The Juno had sliders, which when you're looking at an envelope, which is how quickly the filter or mainly the actual volume takes to start up, sometimes sliders like my Juno had are nicer because you get a physical representation of what the envelope is. So it takes a long while to start up, and then it goes on to your sustain, which is when you're holding the key down, and how long it takes to fade after you release it. So rotary dials on this section take a little bit of getting used to if you're thinking about needing a graphical representation of that envelope. But if you've programmed a couple of synthesizers, this is going to be better than most things I've had. What I wanted was an analog synthesizer, the fact that I've got some digital waveforms and I can load new ones in if I want, and I wanted to just turn knobs to do things without delving in and out of menus through a screen. My Juno DS is, I bought it primarily for its piano sounds and things like that, and it's lovely, but you try programming it and you're constantly going in, right, and they have a program value and this, that and the other. You can't beat just grabbing something like that, going, oh, I want that to sustain more. When I take your fingers off the keyboard, I want it to hang on more. Whoop, there you go, done it. I'm going to play this for a bit, hopefully not too long because I've got other things I should do, but first impressions is this is fucking beautiful. Anyway, I'm going to eat the rest of my pasta salad and then maybe I'll stick my headphones into this and see what it does.